Yes, I am back from Berlin. And first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Rocky for winning $160,000 in the first ever FIFA 17 FUT Champions Tournament. That is an incredible achievement, and what a final between him and Shells. And now, before we get to the short list, which is never as short as I want it to be for all the hits and misses from the weekend, let's take a look at my predictions from Friday. Okay, I said that Barcelona were going to win, and they did, but that it wouldn't matter because Real Madrid were going to beat Malaga by 2 goals to win the league, and I fucking nailed it, as I do. Then me and Adrian both said that Arsenal and Liverpool were going to win, and they did, because that's how we roll. Then I said that Crotone would miraculously get a draw against Juventus, and then, yeah, Juve won 3-0 and the league, and it must have been the jet lag, because what universe do I think I'm living in when I suggested that scoreline? I'm an idiot. Then I said that FC Köln would leapfrog Freiburg and make the Europa League, which happens, but I guess Hamburg would draw with Wolfsburg. And then 21-year-old Luca Waldschmidt scored in the 88th minute after only being on the field for 2 minutes to help Hamburg stay up, which was incredible. And finally, I said that Lorient and Dijon would stay up at the bottom of Ligue 1, with Lorient drawing with Bordeaux at home, which happened. And then Caen, I thought, would lose to PSG and get relegated, but after they missed a penalty to tie it up, Caen scored in the 91st minute to get the draw and stay up. It's unbelievable. The Conradinos are staying in Ligue 1. Anyway, let's get to the misses before we do the hits. And we're going to start with number 5 on the miss list, the sidemen. I am a big fan of these guys and continually in awe of what they do and what they're capable of, individually and collectively, especially with this sidemen game with all the proceeds going to charity. That is amazing. It had an amazing crowd in person and online, so it's just a shame that they couldn't score and have that big moment of celebration as a group. That would have been magic, and unfortunately it didn't happen because they lost to the YouTube All-Stars 2-0 on 2 very good goals from my favorite mustached person on the internet, Castro1021 and Chris MD, and some very stout goalkeeping from Hugh Wizzy. And number 4 on the miss list is Jose Mourinho. After he sent out the 3rd youngest team in Premier League history to face Crystal Palace, which ended up being a 2-0 win for United, it is customary for the players and coaches to do a lap of honor to applaud the supporters for all their support during the season, during the last home game of the year, and Mourinho didn't do it. Now, I'm sure he had his reasons, and he might even have the bitter taste of disappointment after not finishing higher up the table, but this is unacceptable. These supporters drove all the way from London to support the team, so the least he could do is show his appreciation. And number 3 on the miss list is Barcelona. Despite beating Eibar 4-2 at home, which included one of Messi's signature runs where he picks up the ball deep in midfield, beats 5 or 6 defenders, and coolly slots it past the goalkeeper, Barcelona lost La Liga to Real Madrid, their hated rivals, for the first time since 2012. And now, coupled with them getting knocked out of the Champions League, the only trophy they have left to play for is the Copa del Rey, which frankly, it's their own fault. They should have been in a better position to win everything, because their second string guys weren't good enough. So when the magnificent Andres Iniesta went down with an injury, who did they have to replace him? Artur Turan, who was awesome in the Atletico jersey. He fit that team a lot better, but not so much with Barcelona. And then they didn't fully replace Dani Alves, both on and off the field. I mean, Dani Alves' enthusiasm just makes everybody happier. He's just a good dude. He seems like you want to go have fun with him. And Neymar played better, had more smiles on his face, and everything just seemed easier. And then on the field, nobody plays the position as well as he does. He really understands how to do it. Yeah, he might take some risks going forward, but that's part of his charm. And then don't get me started about Luis Enrique as manager. Just never bought into him, but he's going to be gone anyway. So in summation, it's going to be an interesting summer in Catalonia. And number 2 on the miss list is Arsenal. First off, I want to say, and I've said this before, I have a lot of respect for Arsene Wenger because I feel like he's done so much for the game and for Arsenal in particular, but he's become a victim of his own success, and in many ways, his pride, because he only wants to win the league on his terms, his way. There's no flexibility whatsoever. And that failure to adapt to what's happening around him, for example, like when he stubbornly switched to a back 3 for the first time ever in his managerial career this season, which actually worked to great effect, and I'm sure he's kicking himself for not switching to that formation earlier. Or his failures to make signings where he might have to go against his better judgment and overpay for a player or two to be competitive is only going to hold Arsenal back and not move them forward, and I definitely feel like he held them back this season. So like most clubs that underperformed, this is going to be an interesting summer. And number 1 on the miss list is John Terry. So I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but the longtime Chelsea captain who has played 717 times for the club and won 15 trophies started his last ever game at Stamford Bridge, and before the game kicked off, he asked his club and his teammates and their opponent Sunderland if they would kick the ball out in the 26th minute, because that's the number he wears on the back of his shirt, so that he could get substituted and get a proper ovation from the crowd and to get a guard of honor from his teammates. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that this guy deserves this moment for everything that he's achieved in his incredible career for the club. But not if all this pageantry was your own idea. You can't do that. And number 5 on the hit list is Philipp Lahm and Xabi Alonso. In stark contrast to John Terry, these two players and their club Bayern Munich handled their last ever game with class. Xabi Alonso got substituted in the 81st minute with the game firmly in Bayern's control, and then Philipp Lahm got substituted in the 88th minute, and both went out with rousing and emotional ovations. And then after the game was all said and done, they had their proper send-off, just like it should be. So congratulations to both of these guys for fantastic careers. They are both top players, and I look forward to seeing what they do next. Hopefully it's with a YouTube channel so that we can be friends. And number 4 on the hit list is Harry Kane. The Spurs striker, who many considered to be a one-season wonder when he first emerged onto the scene, scored back-to-back hat-tricks in these last 2 games to finish on top of the Premier League scoring charts for the 2nd consecutive season. So congrats to him and to Spurs for a successful year. They have a lot to be proud of. And number 3 on the hit list is Liverpool. Okay, maybe they're a little bit too high up the list, but with their capture of Arsenal's coveted 4th place, which gets them into the Champions League qualifying playoff, and with their pledge to spend a lot more money this summer, which includes rumors of them breaking the bank to sign Kylian Mbappe, which I believe would be a great signing, and with their proven success of winning in Europe under Jurgen Klopp, i.e. getting to the final in the Europa League last season, which is a game they should have won, things are looking up for the Reds. And number 2 on the hit list is Juventus. With their 3-0 win over Crotone, they became the first club to win 6 straight Serie A titles and the 10th club in European history to win their domestic league 33 times or more. So how could they not be on this list? Plus, they just won the domestic double, and they're 90 minutes away from winning the treble if they can beat Real Madrid in the Champions League final. And speaking of Real Madrid, number 1 on the hit list is Zinedine Zidane. Admittedly, as much as I admired Zidane as a player who I definitely believe should go down as one of the best to ever play, I didn't necessarily think that would translate into him being a great manager, sort of like Diego Maradona. But in his 18 months in charge of Real Madrid's first team, he's won the Champions League, La Liga, the FIFA Club World Cup, and the UEFA Super Cup, and proven me and I'm sure countless others wrong, and I bow down to his greatness. All right, that is it. That is all I got, except for this. Career Mode is dropping tomorrow, and then the day after that, we're gonna do my reaction to my Premier League preview from August. I don't think that's gonna go particularly well, so I'm actually not looking forward to it. And apologies to everyone if I don't have your size in the new Warm Ballers t-shirts. They are going like hotcakes, but I'm gonna order some more soon. I just wanted to give you that update. All right, I hope you guys had a good weekend. Later.